Has this happened to you? You pull up to your garage door and you click the button and nothing happens. You click the button again, nothing happens. And you click and you click and you click and you click, and the garage door just sits there. Well, we're going to take a look at a garage door problem that's not a real common problem, but it happens often. So that's today's project. Well, it could just be a bad battery in my remote control, or perhaps there's a power failure to the garage door opener. That has happened from time to time because I do have a lot of appliances and a lot of amperage draw on the circuit that goes to my garage door. So we're going to have to go down to this little thing right here, which is my manual keypad, and see if that works. If this works, well, maybe it is the battery in my transmitter and it's not a power failure to my garage door. Most garage door systems will have a trouble code light system. It's usually 1 flash, 2 flash, 3 flash, and 4 flash. So as I'm clicking this here, what's going on in my garage? So every time I click my garage door transmitter, I get 2 flashes inside. The system is trying to tell me something, that something is wrong. So that's going to be our repair and diagnosis today. Well, if the transmitter's not going to work, we're going to have to get out of the car. And then we go to the button control and see if that works. Well, look at that. It actually works. Now my garage is like everyone else's garage. It's unfinished, kind of messy. We have a freezer over in that corner and years of accumulation of tools and power tools and whatnot. But anyway, my garage door is right up there, and down on this side is my transmitter eye. And just to make sure, we want to make sure that there's no cobwebs and dirt and garbage that's going to be in front of the eye. And then way over on the other side here is going to be the receiver eye. Now, in addition to checking the eye, we want to make sure it's nice and clean and no cobwebs, but over on the side is going to be the little green indicator. And this is telling me that it's receiving a signal. If I put my hand in front, it blocks the signal. Remove my hand, it gains the signal. Now, one of the things you want to notice is you want to make sure that LED light is on and steady. If it's flickering, you might have an alignment problem. If it's off altogether, you may have an alignment problem or a bad receiver. Now, the same thing is true over on the transmitter. You want to make sure, if you can get in here, that you have the LED indicator is on and solid. Now, one thing that can happen from time to time is these things can get bumped, or the clips can get bumped and they can be misaligned. And in that case, the garage door will not go up. But seeing that both my LED lights are on and illuminated, I know that the alignment is not the issue. So if I Google the internet and ask, why is my garage door light flashing twice, I come up with this answer. If your opener flashes twice, then your sensor wire is either shorted or the black and white wires could be reversed. In both cases, your safety eyes will not glow steadily. You should inspect the wiring for any staples or incorrect wiring. Well, the problem is my safety eyes are glowing steadily. Now, when I called the people at Chamberlain, they told me the same thing. So what they're suggesting is either my wire here is broken or it's reversed. Well, I know it's not reversed because this has been wired now since 2006. Has it been broken? Well, that could be a possibility. But since these wires also carry the power to the safety eyes, if they were broken, the safety eyes would not be illuminated. Now if I go to my keypad, now this keypad right here is much like my garage door opener. It's not hardwired. It transmits a signal from here up to the garage door. So if I hit this button, my garage door will start to close. So I know that the transmitter is working and the receiver on my garage door unit is also working. Now this control outside my garage door and the main control inside my garage door kind of work on a safety feature. From here I can make the garage door go close, I can stop it and reverse it. Now the reason that this unit and the unit outside works is because I am actually present in the garage door. I can observe the door going up and down. The reason it doesn't work in the car is because often people hit their garage door as they're approaching their house. They are not there to see if something's happening, and so the system will shut them out of the remote in your car, where it won't shut people out from the remote on their house. So to find out what the problem is, comes down to the process of elimination. I know my transmitter works, and I know the battery in my transmitter works, because when I click the button, my garage door light receives a signal and flashes the trouble code. I know my transmitter here is working, and my transmitter over here is working because the LEDs are illuminated. That tells me the wires are fine, because if the wires were bad, the LEDs would not be illuminated, because the wires carry the power to the sensors and the LED lights are lit. I know that my outside keypad is working because I can open and close the garage door manually. I know my inside controls are working because I can open and close the garage door from this location. And I know my main system is working because it goes up and down and does exactly what it should be doing. So, what else is there to do? If you are getting two flashes from your lights, now I went ahead and unscrewed this light a bit because it does work, but I just don't want the glare on the camera. But if you're getting two flashes from your garage door light, it could be because your memory in your head system is full. So if you want to clear your memory, we're going to see this little purple lavender button, and it says Learn button right here. We're going to push this in until that yellow LED goes off. And release. So with my remote, I'm going to push that Learn button one more time. It goes on. I'm going to hit the open, and I get one flash from my incandescent light. And now we're going to try this one more time and see what happens to the garage door. So in this case, what happened is my memory in the system was full, and I had to basically dump the memory and then reprogram the remote. And now this is working just fine. Now, I showed you how to reprogram one of your remote controls. If you do clear your memory, you'll have to reprogram all your remote controls and your remote control keypad on the outside. And that's just as simple as pressing this once. The light will come on, enter your code on your keypad, or press the remote control and it will automatically program itself. Now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to disconnect the wires to the sensors. Now this wire, you can see, has a black stripe, and it goes to this gray contact block. The white wires go to the white wires, and you disconnect them by pushing in the hook there and releasing the wires on both sides. Kind of hard to do one-handed, but that's what you need to do. These two wires right here go to the main control within the garage. Now for troubleshooting purposes, I replaced the original wires with this set of shorter wires. These are black and red, so I'm going to call red, white, and black gray. And these are going to be terminated right here on my ladder, where I'm going to plug in the sensors here to see if they work. And this will bypass all the wiring in my garage just to verify if it's a sensor problem or a wire problem. Now, on each side of the garage door, we have our sensor here. And I do have an extra amount of wire here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this wire, and I'm going to remove this wing nut, which will then free up the sensor on this side. So I'm going to take this sensor and test it along with this other set. When your eyes are working properly and they're both aligned, the transmitting eye should be lit with an amber light. The receiving light should be a steady green light. If something comes between them to break the beam, the green LED light should turn off. If both LEDs on the eyes are not illuminated, then the problem is going to be with the transmitting eye. The transmitter eye will send a beam to the receiving eye, and only then will the receiving eye have an LED light. If the transmitting eye has an amber LED and the receiving eye does not have any green LED, then the receiving eye is bad and would need to be replaced. If the transmitting eye is amber, that eye is good. If the receiving eye is green but flashing or flickering, that's an indication of being out of alignment. Once you have a solid green LED light, you know your alignment is good, and both sensors should also be good. So I went to Home Depot and got this replacement sensor eye set from Chamberlain. Now don't go crazy when you open this up. It does have a little piece of tape here. Just in case you need to return this, you don't want to rip the package to shreds. It'll just make the return more difficult to do. So inside here, we have some instructions and 2 brackets, and we have 2 safety eyes, and these are much smaller than the ones I had, and all the hardware and all the wire ties, wire fasteners. So after reviewing the instructions, this is pretty much remove and replace. So we're going to use all this. We're going to take off the old brackets off the railings, and we're going to put these in, and these already give you some a bit of a pigtail, and we'll see what happens. My old sensor bracket was 3 inches off the ground, so I'm going to go ahead and put a reference mark here. And at that reference mark, I'm going to put that clip there and then swing it all the way around and just have it attached, just that simple. This is my replacement center. I got the nut here. The head of this nut will fit inside that hole right there. So we're going to go ahead and put that in. And then this will go through the bracket here, and the wing nut will attach to this side just like so. We'll have to strip back the wires. And as you can see, one has a black stripe, one has a white stripe. So you want to keep that in mind for the polarity. You want to have about a 1/4 inch of wire that's protruding, because these little fasteners, we're going to do the black one first, which is this one. So you get both of your wires. These are both black wires, and they'll go inside those holes like so. Push them all the way home, and then you get a pair of pliers and just crimp that down like so, and that what attaches them. So now we're going to do the same thing with the white wires. Hold them next to each other, parallel. This one is just a wee bit long. Get your connector. And go ahead and squeeze that. That holds them in tight. So this side is done. Now we have to go do the next side. I connected the wires back to the main controller, and as soon as I did, I have a solid green light here that is telling me that they're aligned. Now, if this is flashing green, that just tells you they're not aligned, so you just have to kind of move these around until you get it. Oh, see right now? Well, for example, if I pull this out of the way, see right now it's not aligned because I'm pushing this forward, but just a little bit of a bend and it's aligned. Another reason why you can get 2 flashes on your garage door is if the wire is damaged or reversed. Now, if your garage door was working just fine before the installation, it's probably not reverse wire. But if you have a broken wire, well, that's something that can happen. Sometimes broken wires can happen if the wire can move underneath a fastener, or perhaps something could have fallen in place, and perhaps you can get a broken wire from something hitting the wire. To repair a broken wire, go ahead and separate the wires like so. Remove about a 1/4 inch of the insulation like so, and using a wire connector or splice connector, put one in each side like such. Like so. With a pair of pliers, pinch the orange button, and your repair is made. And you can do this without replacing the entire wire for your garage door. And then you can just test it out, see if your repair works. If your receiving eye, which is the green LED, is flashing, that's an indication that your sensors are out of alignment. It could just be as simple as moving the bracket until you have a solid green light. Just a note on light bulbs. The head controller should use an incandescent bulb. Compact fluorescence will also work, but although sometimes a compact fluorescent may have a shorter threaded base. Do not use LED lights. LED lights can give off a frequency that can interrupt your remote control transmitter. If your master switch fails to open the door, if the screen is blank and nothing else seems to work, then the first thing you need to do is to jump the connections in your head controller. To jumper the master controller switch, you need to remove the orange and white wire using the slotted screwdriver, pushing down on these lower tabs. Once removed, take a pair of insulated wire and insert them into the slot and see if that will start the garage door. If your jump is successful here, that's an indication that either your master switch or your wiring leading to the master switch is faulty. Another test that we can conduct on the garage door system is the automatic reversing. So if I close the garage door and break the beam with my foot, the garage door retracts and gives me the flashing indicator light. So that system is good. I hope you found this video helpful, and that maybe this can save you some time and money. And now that it's done, maybe I should clean my garage. I appreciate your time. Please subscribe.